Ahoy there, Captain Benzie here, coming at you with another developer Q&A video for Eve Echoes. Each week, the developers take 4 questions that have been posed to them by the community, and more on how you can do that later. Then they respond to them and post those answers to the official Eve Echoes Twitter account, Facebook page, and to the Dev Q&A section hidden away in your shipboard AI in-game. Now, if you have a particular question you would like to ask the developers, there is a link in the description of this video that will take you through to a Google document where you can post your own question. And if your question is one of the 4 that is chosen to be responded to, you will win a month of Basic Omega. Now, each week I like to go through the 4 questions that have been asked and the responses that were given and add my own personal thoughts and opinions. And I do need to stress that these are my own personal thoughts and opinions. Yours may differ. I'd love to hear yours politely worded down in the comment section down below. We're all friends here, right? Anyway, without further ado then, let's jump right into this week's developer Q&A and see which question is going to get me angry today. So, the developer Q&A for the week of the 16th to 22nd of February 2022. Question number 1. Are there any plans during the May update to rework the Deadspace module system, as currently very few people bother using these modules due to the cost and bonus reward ratio? To pause briefly there, I kind of get where this is coming from. Equally, Eve is known for, like, you spend 80% additional cost for 20% upgrade. That's kind of how it has always worked. But yeah, no one really uses B-types. I've never seen anyone flying A-types or X-types on a ship because it's just prohibitively expensive, and we'll talk about this in a moment. Could either the manufacturing cost be reduced, chance of success increased, or the stats of the module reworked? Now, before I read Wilson's reply here, one of the things I'd actually suggested in the past here, because the market is flooded with C-type modules, it's like there's no real reason to go for anything else. You see tech level 4 and tech level 5 players flying around in ships with C-type modules because they can be that cheap. So what's the point in any of like the Navy issue gear and the stuff that's missing between Navy and Meta Level 8? What's the point in Meta Level 8 or Meta Level 5 gear? There really isn't any because it's all so cheap and the C-types are just not even that expensive on top of that. So I've suggested in the past, Sheev and I have both sort of had long, lengthy discussions on this, where basically the suggestion would be that to make B-type gear, you need to consume C-type gear, like every B-type module you make when you sort of do the industry side of that, you need to consume 10 C-type modules, so 10 C-types will make a B-type with some other items around as well, and then 10 B-types will make an A-type, and then 10 A-types would make an X-type. This would also serve to reduce the market for C-type gears, and thus increase the demand for them, increasing the cost of them. And if C-type modules become more expensive, there's more reason to occasionally be flying things like your Mark 9s, your Republic Fleet, your Caldari Navy, your Meta Level 8 stuff, and stuff like that. My thoughts and opinions, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on that in the comment section below. But what does Wilson say? Wilson responds, the reverse engineering upgrade of Deadspace modules is already in the plan. It's expected to be released in early April. Now, I don't know if that's early April sort of as part of the balance patch, or if the balance patch is going to be later in April and this is sort of something else that's coming. I get the feeling it'll be part of the balance patch. At that time, we will further adjust the stats to improve the cost-performance ratio of B, A, and X-type Deadspace modules. And I'll be honest, that's a little disappointing, just kind of tweaking the risk-reward. That's not overly exciting. Like, yeah, making them cheaper so that more people use them, but then making them worse? I don't know, it doesn't solve anything other than getting more people using a particular type of module. I really, really think that B, A, and X should consume the lower type as part of their production, but hey, maybe that's me. Let's move on. The Concord shop has been static for the past 3 runs. Can we expect updates soon, i.e. nanocores for the missing ships, or are other events prioritised? What? The Concord Pass shop hasn't been static. They've had new nanocores every time. We're on Concord Pass 7 now, but 6, 5, and 4 all had completely different nanocores with them. Like, we've just had the Ascension. Before Ascension, we had oh, what are they called? The name completely escapes me. It's not the Death Wish, it's on Dark Halo. The Dark Halo nanocores and stuff like this. So we've had new nanocores every time. Now, They say here, we're gradually improving the range of ships for the nanocores sold in the Concord Pass shop. We'll also add defense nanocores, upgrade materials to the shop in the near future. So if this is, you're looking, we've got offense nanocores, we have disrupt nanocores and industry nanocores. They're going to be adding a fourth type, defense, which are going to be, I assume, aimed at like the Guardian ships and stuff like that, which could be pretty cool. That could be quite interesting. I look forward to kind of seeing that. But another point that has been brought up recently by the community, and I do agree with, every Concord Pass comes with new nanocores. And yes, they do have slightly different numbers and that on them, like in the secondaries, but the primaries tend to be similar. And the visuals, well, ultimately, if you didn't like the look of the Ascension nanocore, you could play around with the visuals and change that using skins and just by modifying the nanocore itself. So each time we get a new nanocore, we're just getting more stuff added to menus. Ultimately, that's not particularly exciting, and we're going to hit a point where in a year's time, we've got like 9 nanocores, 9 purple nanocores, all available for, you know, different ships. It also means that the whole building nanocores yourself using the stuff that you find in Nihilist Deadspaces, does anyone do that anymore? Like the Serpentis NCO, yeah, I get that's a really good one, but has anyone built an Angel NCO core and actually uses it when you could just go for a Thermomagnetic Storm 2 or an Ascension or now a Clear Skies? It seems like they completely forgot that that was even a thing. And I would like to see nanocores actually be less of a prevalent thing. Like in future iterations, you get a few nanocores on offer, but even better, getting crafting materials. Make these nanocores craftable in the game, and you can use your Concord credits to buy upgrade materials or the materials that you use to craft things. Now, I know recently I've mentioned EVE Online an awful lot, but it's true. There's some good comparisons here. In EVE Online, you get things in your daily login rewards and during events, things like abyssal filaments that allow you to run certain encounters. You get the occasional skin, obviously 30-day skins, and permanent skins in certain situations. You even get things like blueprints and certain modules, and things like cap boosters are a big example of this. Cap boosters and ammo, consumables, things that your ship actually uses and consumes. Cap boosters, by the way, are essentially like a cap battery. The activated part, every time you activate it, it consumes a charge. So in the daily login rewards, they give you charges. It's a really nice way of doing stuff that doesn't overly affect industry, and I'd like to see that some of those decoders and things that we see inside Nihilist space, that you would get those instead as part of the Concord Pass, rather than just nanocore after nanocore after nanocore, and have a reason to run those Nihilist Deadspaces and actually get that loot. Is anyone using those data things, like, you know, Angel data and medium ship data and stuff like that, to actually make their own nanocores? Or are those just items that are sitting in hangars doing nothing? Because if they're sitting in hangars doing nothing, isn't it time we fix that? Anyway, let's move on to the next one. Question number 3. Do you have any plans to add more filters for the open contract section? It'd be useful to have options as a drop-down menu, for example, nanocores, skins, ships, equipment, etc. Would make it easier rather than having to type in what you're looking for. Now here, Kylum responds, there are currently no plans to add filter options to the contract search page. And again, this is one of those things I'm actually on both sides with. It would be nice. Quality of life stuff is stuff I'm always for. Having a quality of life change that makes it easier to search through and filter your contracts, that's pretty cool. It's also one of those things, it's ultimately, I feel, pretty niche. Like, yeah, you might want to sit there and go, right, how many contracts recently have had nanocores in? And how many of them recently have had, like, skins in? And you can kind of see how you've been trading and all that kind of stuff. But it's pretty niche, and ultimately I can see it taking a decent chunk of development time, because filters like this are not as simple as people make out. So I get there's more important options, more important stuff that you need to be working on right now, but at the same time, this would be something that would be quite nice to have eventually, I think. I think it would help people who use contracts an awful lot, but how much, really, is it going to help? Especially the overall community, so I get why it's low priority, if anything. Finally then, has there been any thought to allowing corporation citadels to have markets? pause this one briefly. This was actually something that was discussed prior to the game's release. Between final test and the actual global launch, there were a lot of sort of Q&A sessions and things where the devs talked about all kinds of cool concepts and ideas they had for the game. They revealed the Yanjung ships that we still haven't seen in game. Like, look at the Mochizuki. The Mochizuki is right there. It's in like all this artwork, but as far as I'm aware, it's not even in the game files. Like, I can't even pull it up on Fulmination. At least like the Kanyu and the Shanyue, you can actually see them in the files and look at their stats and dream about the day when eventually you might be able to fly one of these. But the point I'm getting here is that actually it was talked about that the alliances, the Nullsec alliances, would actually be able to open up their own ITCs, and that was something that was really, really cool. And I really like that idea. I still like that idea. Now, they say here that settings could be allowed to open the market to corporation members, alliance members, or friendlies. They could also function as ITCs and allow alliance members to fulfill delivery contracts to and from other ITCs and corporation citadels. And I completely agree with all of that. That's all really, really cool. There's so much you can do with that. That would help hauling a lot. It would help industry a lot. The ability to have a non-ITC market in your own space is just also really useful, that I can sit there as a shipbuilder and rather than have to wait for people to contact me on Discord, like I do with Yatsuki, I will just message him and go, hey, can I have a Hurricane and a Hurricane prototype and a Celestis Covert Ops 2 and a Rupture Trainer and a Rupture Guardian and a Rupture Guardian 2 and a Rupture Interdictor because I need all these ships for future content, and Yatsuki will give me the prices and sort all that out. I could just put up a buy order, and all of the different industrialists could basically look at that buy order, or industrialists who have got stuff they want to sell. You know, we have people who have just upgraded from Tech 7 to Tech 8, they're no longer using their retrievers, put them on a market and sell them to someone in the local area. That's a really cool way of keeping funds circulating in your local community, but I equally get that it does drive business away from the high-sec ITCs. But then again, if more people are selling at the high-sec ITCs, you can buy them and then get it hauled to you, and there's so many cool ideas like this. I just really like this. It's something I talked about doing before release, and it's one of those things I really would like to see eventually added. Now, Melos responds here, currently having the Corporation Citadel as a marketplace is not in our plan. We're focusing on developing the Corporation Mission system for now to further increase interaction and item circulation within the Corporation. And this was something that was revealed on the Trello, a Corporation Mission system. And this, to me, is equally as exciting. I don't know which I would ultimately rank higher than the other, but the concept of setting up missions with your own corporation is really cool. Like, you could say to people, right, your mission is to mine X amount of these particular ores, or to gather this much of a particular PI, and then the corporation gives a reward for people who do that. That suddenly gives miners a dedicated income, which is really cool, and it saves us having to do all of these sort of ore buyback programs and stuff outside of the game. You know, we have to do it through Discord and all these external tools. Adding that to the game is really cool. Adding the ability to pay people to go ratting and joining fleets and stuff as well. I'm all for this. There's so much really interesting stuff this system could do, and I can't wait to sink my teeth into it and have a look. Now, a quick final point that I just didn't mention earlier, I sort of saw it, I moved on and then forgot, is at the bottom here, NetEase Paulin. Is that a new mod? Is that a new dev that we've not seen before? I don't feel like I've seen that name in a previous dev Q&A, so it's great to see that we're still getting new devs answering the questions and coming forward. It's also great to see that none of the questions this week have actually made me rage, because they're all pretty nice questions. They make sense. They're logical questions that actually could bring some interesting concepts to the game, rather than, hey, when are we adding anime skins? Hey, when can my battleship kill absolutely everything? Why isn't my carrier completely invulnerable? When are we getting Tech 11? And just, no, I'm not going to go down this one. I'm not going to go down this one. This has been a nice dev Q&A. Some really interesting questions there, some cool stuff to think about. I've given my thoughts and opinions on this, and I would love to hear yours in the comment section down below as well. And also, you know, find me on Twitter, find me on Discord, come chat with me. I love talking all things Eve Echoes whenever I can. Finally, if you want to keep me doing what I'm doing, come join Patreon. Details are on screen in the description down below. And each week I am giving away 3 months of Combo Omega. 3 lucky winners each win a month of Combo Omega just by being on my Discord and posting up cool screenshots. Anyway, folks, thanks for watching this one right the way through to the end. Happy sailing, and see you in New Eden!